Post-colonialism theory. So, the post-colonialist theory is all about the racial undertones inferior view to Orientals. Texts were in the perspective of the colonized, oppressed. Literature of negritude, example of literature of protest. The Pan-Africanism, loving identity. Wordliness, speech is in the word but text is removed in the word. Baba, colonial ambivalence, colonial enunciation. Purists, don't entertain the idea of colonizing. Hybridity, an important concept in post-colonial theory. Colonial ambivalence. Colonial ambivalence it's talked about is the ambiguous way in which colonizer and colonized regard one another. Colonial enunciation. So, what puts the post in post-colonialism? Considering post is a prefix meaning after, we need to first discuss the history behind colonialism. So, the post-colonialism is all about the history of people years ago, during the time of World War II. So, what is colonialism? An extension of a nation's rule over territory beyond its borders. A population that is subjected to the political domination of another population. Two sides of colonialism. The militaristic side, the physical conquest and occupation of territories. The civilization side, the conquest and occupation of mindsets and cultures. Colonialism does not end with the end of colonial occupation. Resistance begins before the end of colonial occupation. The historical whereby the West attempts systematically to cancel or negate the cultural difference and value of the non-West by Leila Gadhi on 1998. Colonial critique deals with imperialistic views. Post-colonial criticism is all about examines the effect of imperialistic view in post-colonial societies. So, the post-colonial criticism is a set of theoretical and critical strategies used to examine in the culture, literature, politics, history of former colonies. Post-colonial theory deals with the reading and writing of literature written in previously or currently colonized country or literature written in colonizing countries which deals with colonization or colonized people. It embraced no single method or school. So the post-colonialism questions the effect of empire, raises issues such as racism and exploitation, assesses the position of the colonial or post-colonial subject, offers a counter-narrative to the long tradition of European imperial narratives. Why were people colonized? So, why the people colonized is because the opportunity to make a money was one of the primary motivators for the colonization of the New World. So by social Darwinism, it's all about Eurocentrism, universalism, colonialism is nature. White man's burden. What was thought to be an obligation to civilize non-European people? How long did it last and why did it end? In 15th century to 20th century, arguably, it is still going on. In the World War II, it's time to right to sovereignty, lack of resources, and independent movements. Okay, so what is post-colonialism? Post-colonial theory attempts to focus on the oppression of those who were ruled under colonization. So, factors include political oppression, economic, social, cultural oppression, psychological oppression. Who are the oppressed? The victim of oppress are persons who suffered the most acute political, ethnic, and racial persecution on part of the totalitarian regimes. The examples of oppressed are sexism, heterosexism, ableism, classicism, and etc. Those who were firmly colonized. In post-colonial theory, the word colonized can mean many things, like literally colonization, more abstract colonization, African American, Native Americans in the United States. How was the colonized oppressed? Post-colonial theories believe that the colonizer imposed their own values onto those colonized so that they were internalized. Social and cultural. Spanish language Catholic region in the Caribbean. Political. Drew the boundaries of Africa based on European politics rather than tribal interests. How did the oppressed escape? Post-colonial theories also analyze the process by which those who were colonized resist the colonizers. Example: Haiti, South Africa, India. When exactly does the post-colonial begin? The post-colonial begin is when third world intellectuals have arrived in the first world academy by Erich Derlich. Post-colonial theories by Edward Said move colonial discourse into the first world academy and into literary and cultural theory. Was also very influential in third world universities. Coined the term Orientalism, describing the binary between the Orient and the Occident. Edward said the power and knowledge are inseparable. Following Foucault belief, Orientalism in the 1978 book that has been highly influential in post-colonial studies, attempted to explain how European and Western colonizers look upon the Orient. What is the Orient? A mythical plane that was the stereotype due to lack of knowledge and imagination, a lumping together of Asia. Example of Orientalism is the Aladdin. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak introduced terms such as essentialism and strategic essentialism. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak, born February 24, 1942, is an Indian literary critic and theorist. She is best known for the article Can the Subaltern Speak?, considered a founding text of post-colonialism, and for her translation of Jacques Derrida's of Grammatology. Spivak teaches in Columbia University, where she was tenured as university professor, Columbia's highest rank, in March 2007. A prolific scholar, she travels widely and give lectures around the world. She is also a visiting faculty member at the Centre for Studies in Social Sciences, Calcutta. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak, Can the Subaltern Speak? 1988. My position is generally a reaction one. I am viewed by Marxists as too codic, by feminists as too male-identified, by indigenous theories as too committed to Western theory. I am uneasily pleased about this. Next is the Homi K. Baba. Homi K. Baba, born 1949, is an Indian post-colonial theorist. Feels the post-colonial world should valorize spaces of mixing spaces where truth and authenticity move aside for ambiguity. This space of hybridity, he argues, offer the most profound challenge to colonialism. He ignores Spivak's stated usefulness of essentialism have been put forward. References is made to essentialism potential usefulness. Next is the Franz Fanon. Franz Fanon, July 28 in 1925 to December 6, 1961, was a psychiatrist, philosopher, revolutionary, and author from Martinique. He was influential in the field of post-colonial studies and was perhaps the preeminent thinker of the 20th century on the issue of decolonization and the psychopathology of colonization. His work have inspired anti-colonial liberation movement for more than 4 decades. Fanon, relatively short life yielded two potent and influential statements of anti-colonial revolutionary thought: Black Skin, Black Skin, White Mask, 1952, and the Scourge of the Earth, 1961, works which have made Fanon a prominent contributor to post-colonial studies. Post-colonialism, the critical lens, examining colonizer-colonized relationship in literature, is the work pro and anti-colonialism by test the text reinforce or resist colonialist ideology, explore the dynamics of colonization through literary works. How did it come about? How did it end? And how does the text explain? That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, classmates, especially to you, ma'am. I am Pearl Palma and I am assigned to discuss the continuation of post-colonialism. So, who are the oppressed? So, those who were formerly colonized. In post-colonial theory, the word colonized can mean many things. Literal colonization, more abstract colonization, African American, Native Americans in the United States. So those who are formerly colonized, commonly the countries of Asia like India, Korea, and China. So tanang places nga sakop sa Asia including the Philippines, appeal na dyan na siya. So in post-colonial theory, the word colonized can mean many things. So meaning, daghan siya ibig sabihin. So on the other hand, when we say literal meaning, it's subjugating the art, taking one's place by their power. So example of colonization happened na the Africa and American colonization. So starting in the 1880s in what became known as the scramble for Africa, ang European countries raced to occupy the continent. They established control over many parts of Africa. So, gikontrol nila ang part sa Africa. So, how was the colonized oppressed? Post-colonial theories believe that the colonizers, generally Europeans. So, obviously, ang colonizers daw is mga European. So imposed their own values onto those colonized so that they were internalized social, cultural, Spanish language, Catholic religion in the Caribbean, political drew the boundaries of Africa based on European politics rather than tribal interest. So kutob nga lugar nga ilahang mga colonized or nasakop, gina-impose nila ang ilahang own values. Example na lang ang Pilipinas nga sa unang panahon ginatudluan or ginapaskwela ang mga tao og Spanish, ilang gina-impose ang ilahang religion like Catholic and politics. So how did the oppressed escape? So how did the oppressed escape? So post-colonial theories also analyze the processes by which those who were colonized resisted the colonizers. So examples, Haiti, South Africa, and India. So Africans escaped colonial military and administrative abuses through avoidance tactics. Na sila mga tactics para ma-resist nila ang mga pang-abuso sa mga colonizers. So, hearing of approaching colonial armies, tax collectors, or labor recruiters, Africans flee their homes or concealed themselves to avoid violent confrontations and dispositions. So, examples sa mga lugar, Haiti, South Africa, and India. So, when exactly does the post-colonial begin? So, when Third World intellectuals have arrived in the First World Academy. So, Arif. So, Edward said, move colonial discourse into the First World Academy and into literary and cultural theory was also very influential in Third World universities, especially sa India daw. So, coined the term, so dira na mo sulod ang term nga Orientalism, so describing the binary between the Orient and the Occident. So, according to Edward said, power and knowledge are inseparable following Foucault's belief. Orientalism is the 1978 book that has been highly influential in post-colonial studies, attempted to explain how European Western colonizers look upon the Orient. What is the Orient? So, a mystical plane that was stereotyped due to lack of knowledge and imagination, a lumping together of Asia. So, Homi K. Bhabha. So, si Homi K. Bhabha ang Indian post-colonial theories. So, he was born on 1949. So, feels the post-colonial world should valorize spaces of mixing, spaces where truth and authenticity move aside for ambiguity. This space of hybridity, he argues, offers the most profound challenge to colonialism. He ignores Spivak's stated usefulness of essentialism have been put forward. References is made to essentialism potential usefulness. So, si Spivak siya ang theorist sa essentialism. So, that's all from my report. Thank you po.